The views and opinions expressed within the video content found on the Indie Comics Network are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Indie Comics Network or its sponsors.
Turkey season is over, and that means the Christmas holidays are upon us. But don't worry, you don't have to be cursed with a wonderful life. And don't be stressed about that die-hard debate. There are plenty of Christmas movies that will satisfy your dark humor and leave you with your Christmas jeer. So roast your nuts on an open fire and come join our panel as we discuss our favorite edgy Christmas movies full of holiday humbug and things, right now on Dispatches from Outside the Box.
In the spaces, things exist. In the lines that form the network of your mind. Behind the retinas of imagination are the particles and peripherals that made you who you are. Turn off, shut your eyes, and listen. Dispatches from Outside the Box.
All right. And of course, welcome to the show that scours the corners of geekdom to inspire you to create outside the box. I'm your host, C Michael Lanning, graphic translator, done a whole bunch of stuff. Reminding you to like, share, subscribe, hit that bell icon, tell a friend, knock on the door, sing a Christmas carol, whatever you got to do. Let people know that we're here and we're ready to listen. And if you're watching this on the replay, drop a comment. We comment back sometimes, I promise you. Isn't that right, Mitch?
Yes, it is.
So, man, this is the time, we fight this fight at Halloween, right?
Oh, God,
Halloween happens, and for some odd reason, the stores say, hey, it's Halloween. Let's bring out Santa. What's the deal with that? I mean, I'm for a Christmas horror movie, but come on, man.
Yeah. I think it has to do with, the fact that Christmas stuff sells more than Halloween stuff, so they're trying to get that Christmas dollar. And just in the cultural milieu, a lot of people just can't wait for Christmas.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Well, go ahead and introduce yourself. Give us all the Christmas gift early.
Hey, I'm Mitch Rogers. I'm a horror comics writer and artist and publisher, creator of the Boger and the Flesh and Blood collection.
All right. Yeah, I just kind of figured, we have all these movies. We have these, It's a Wonderful Life. It's A Miracle on 31st Street. Movies we've seen 100 times over and over again. Leave you with that feel-good, feeling.
Yeah.
And it's like, but the ones that I really enjoy are the ones that are just kind of just there to make you laugh. And you could be humbugged and appreciate them just as much, right?
Oh, yeah.
No. No, I'm not a Christmas guy. I just, hi, I'm Jared. I'm the resident Grinch. I don't like to decorate. When I pass by the Christmas stuff in stores, I just get a huge attack of anxiety. I'm like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, then at nighttime he dresses up as Santa and steals all the Christmas stuff.
Just because I'm fat and have a beard, that doesn't happen.
You got to paint yourself green that way. Really.
And just
well, I didn't include the Grinch. I'm not a fan of the Jim Carrey Grinch at all. To be honest with you,
Boris Karloff was the best Grinch in my opinion.
Yeah.
He played the Grinch in the cartoon.
Yeah, I can see that. But I didn't include it in like the monologue or anything like that because I don't really think it's a fringe. I think that kind of goes with the Miracle on 31st Street and all that. Honestly, I don't think it's edgy enough to be here. Even though
Speaking of edgy,
Inverted.
Hello,
I'm on the edge. Hey guys, how we doing?
hey, go ahead and introduce yourself, Rod.
Hey everybody, I'm Rodney Fike. That's the name it says right here on the name right there.
Somewhere over there,
somewhere out there. I am the artist, writer, creator. Been trolling around the independent comics field for the better part of 35 years now. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch at Rodney Fike Art. You can also find me on the Hasm YouTube channel or go to hasm.com, HAZZUM.com, and check out all of our books such as Pitter Patter Unchained, Peanut Pudding and Jelly, and Roadkill Rampage, and coming soon in 23, Doghouse.
All right, I know about that one.
Yes, you do.
So, Rodney, are you a Christmas person?
I am.
I knew it. Yeah. Ohio.
Is it a Ohio thing to be into Christmas, or is it just
I don't know.
It's up north and cold, so
I'm up north and cold.
Yeah, but you're from here, so you're from south.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I can get hot and cold on it, just depending on what's going on, But
right.
Overall, I love lights. I love city skylines. So when driving around the neighborhoods and all of the houses are lined with lights, I just love that. The other night, walked into the bedroom, and the bedroom window was open, and the guy down the hill, new house, they renovated, so there's somebody in there living now, and they had Christmas lights on, and I'm like, oh look, Christmas lights right outside the bedroom window, yay! Like a 10-year-old. But
I'm sorry you have to go through that.
But see, that's the thing. When every year, I would take, as a family, we'd hop in the car and we would just drive all over town.
Yeah.
We'd stop at a convenience store and get a bottle of soda and a snack or whatever, and we just drive around and see all the Christmas lights. Go downtown and check out the tree on the square, and just drive around and just check out all the. There's always those handful of houses that have the crazy Christmas displays. We'd go check all those stuff. So,
Well, now I'm seeing it now more and more. Even Halloween's coming up to where it has those crazy displays too now, which is kind of cool. But I remember, and I kind of get is it usually snowing up there?
Oh no, it's Cincinnati, man. It don't snow here anymore.
It doesn't snow here anymore.
We haven't had a good snow in
climate change.
About 3 years. No, we used to get legit, man. Every summer, every winter, we'd get 5 or 6 good snowfalls. Now we get one maybe every 3 years.
See, we snow every year, but I have heard since we moved up here that we've been lucky that we haven't got as much as they have before we moved up here. And I'm like, well, good.
Yeah. We get
just
bitter
cold.
Hot for it. We get bitter cold, but we don't get a lot of snow anymore.
I think the wind is the worst part. It just takes your soul.
That wind feels like knives.
Yeah.
But we had when we do have snow down here, it's usually either way before Christmas or gone. Well, no, I don't think it's ever been before Christmas, really.
Here we did 1 year. 1 year for about 10 years ago. For 1 year, we had Christmas before. Snow before Christmas. I can't talk, people.
That's okay.
Yeah, and it was weird.
Christmas spirit has you all choked up, right?
That's what it is.
And it was weird because it snowed in like mid-December. Then it got real hot around Christmas, and it's like, this is weird. Yeah, it was just that 1 year. So.
Yeah, we've been averaging probably low 50s for Christmas the last few years.
Right,
that must be nice.
I'll take it.
Here,
I'm not a fan of the cold weather.
Yeah, well, we can't decide what we want to be. Last year we were going from hot in the morning and cold in the afternoon, so I don't even know how that works.
See, I just assumed since you guys were so far south that it was always you guys really didn't get very cold.
Oh no, we get cold.
It gets cold.
We get cold and wet.
Yeah, it's just the humidity makes it a lot worse. Like we don't get snow, we get ice.
Yeah, if Louisiana gets ice, then they shut the whole state down because they don't know how to act.
Damn straight. These people can't drive if there's no ice on the road. I can only imagine. Before we get to the comments, but I do remember that we did have 1 year. We did have 1 year where we had snow right at Christmas time, and you could go into the stores. It's like, oh, so this is what Christmas feels like. I could get used. Never mind.
And the sad thing is, you guys don't even know.
All right, and Carl's in the chat. Hello, Carl.
Donna.
Carl. Hi, Donna. How are you doing, Donna? Guess what, Donna?
Happy birthday, whoop-de-doo, whoop-de-doo.
Happy birthday.
I think it was her birthday yesterday, but I wanted to catch her on that. So, and Carl says, I'm like Jared. Bah.
Humbug.
Brown Dog's in the chat. Hey now, Brown Dog.
Hey now.
And Donna says, I rewatch all the Thin Man movies during Yule. So
that makes sense.
And if anyone wants some snow, I'll save it all for you. Got a big truck.
I got enough, thanks.
No, that's okay.
You can keep it.
That's okay. So Rodney, since you are a Christmas person, what's your favorite Christmas movie?
My favorite Christmas movie.
There's just so damn many of them.
Well, I'll say
Die
two.
Hard.
I'll say two.
If you think it's a Christmas movie, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Scrooged was always I just love that movie. I could watch it over and over. And do on Christmas Day. But for me, when we went to the movie theater and saw Bad Santa for the first time.
Oh God, I forgot
my
about that movie.
God. That was the funniest friggin' movie. And just the lewdness of it. We were like, oh my God.
And that's a movie that I didn't even really want to see until I did.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I was like,
it just crept up
I not
on you.
want to see this. This is great.
Yeah. It was like, are you serious?
Yeah.
She said the car, F me Santa, F me Santa. It's like, there goes my childhood. It's dead now. Completely dead.
The best part is when Billy's looking at the little kid and he's, are you fucking with me? The whole theater just lost it.
Yep.
And what was crazy about this is that you have these kind of movies like that, and it still ends up. And I think what makes it good is it's not just complete lewd and disgusting. Right. It brings you back into kind of to a moral of some sort. He learns his lesson at the end. He goes to jail. Spoiler, and but the kids all right with the jacuzzi.
The other part that people forget about with that movie is the whole inner struggle with him and the little black little person.
Yes.
And John Ritter was in there with his little talking about the sausage fingers, and it was just little one-liners are just
I forgot John Ritter
funny.
was in
I was about to say the same thing.
In a lot of Billy Bob Thornton movies. He was in Sling Blade as
he was in
grocery
Sling Blade.
runner.
He was.
Yeah.
He was in it. What else was he in with Billy Bob? Sling Blade, Bad Santa. Is that it? Or
He was even in Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but he was in a lot of Billy Bob Thornton made movies.
Huh.
But Billy Bob Thornton didn't make
Vampire Slayer.
Yeah, he was.
The movie or TV show.
TV show.
The TV show. Oh, okay. I was going to say because I don't remember them in the movie.
I never got into Buffy, so I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's been years since I watched it.
He was a bad guy that was trying to be her daddy. So it was
her
actually
daddy
really,
or her daddy.
It was her father, not her daddy.
John Ritter was so versatile he could play either one.
In all honesty, if you find those episodes, go back and watch it because he's creepy as hell in that. So it's definitely worth a watch. Just if you're a fan of his anyway, it's worth the watch.
I got to agree with Brown Dog there. Fat Man was great. Wasn't expecting much from that either.
It was pretty good.
Mel Gibson?
It was pretty good. Yeah.
So what? Mel Gibson played Santa, or
it was like a mall Santa, wasn't he?
No, he was Santa.
He was Santa.
Oh, he was the Santa.
Yeah, he was Santa.
He was up north, and they came after him, and he got busy.
David Harbour
is here, so he took care of some shit. It's like a John Wick Santa, basically.
Yeah, it was great.
Cool. Because David Harbour from Stranger Things is playing the Santa in a movie that's coming out soon. I want to see. It's kind of like that.
Violet Night.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah,
I cannot wait to see that.
I like David Harbour. So.
It looks fun.
Except as Hellboy. But.
Well, anything he does is better than Hellboy.
Come on.
See?
Come on.
Well, maybe come over there.
See, I'm as big of a Hellboy fan and Harbour fan that there is. And Hellboy 3 was a little weak, dude.
Yeah, a
little weak.
It reminded me of the comics because we had the different stories and the darkness to it and everything. And it
had Mila Jovovich. That was like really good.
Had Ian McShane. It should have been better.
Well, Ian McShane is Professor Broom. Well, Professor Broom really didn't have much in the comics anyway, right? I mean, you saw
he was in.
They showed some of the later ones.
The first, right. Yeah, he was in the first issue of Seed of Destruction for like 3 pages.
Yeah.
So we need a Hellboy Christmas movie.
Well, there is a great Hellboy Christmas story in the comics.
Yeah.
That's not the one where he goes to the circus, is it?
No, that's the one
where he's young and he goes to kind of.
No, it's one of the earlier ones.
Y'all are gonna hate me, but as long as Del Toro comes back.
Oh
yes,
yeah,
you're right. Anyway.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Del Toro's amazing. I love him. But it's the one where like this old woman's dying and there was like some family curse. I can't remember off the top of my head, but something to do with like a society of demon people that lived underground. And he had to go save like her daughter or something. It was Hellboy, so it was weird and wacky, which I love.
Right. What would be a good one is Krampus. Have you guys seen Krampus with Adam Scott?
Yeah.
Yes. It's stupid but good at the same time. It's fun. Let me put it that way.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was what I expected it to be.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well,
I'm an Adam Scott fan though, so.
Oh, so you like?
I like Michael Dougherty ever since I saw Trick or Treat, so I was expecting it to be kind of fun and stupid at the same time, but purposely stupid, not where they're trying to make a serious movie and it just
it's a parody of itself, and they pretty much let you know right away that it's making fun of itself without being serious, taking itself too serious.
I think Krampus was awesome in that movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
see, that would be a great villain for Hellboy in a Christmas movie. Would be Krampus.
Yeah, it would.
That'd be a good throwdown. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd watch it.
Yeah, there's a few Krampus movies out now. Since that movie came out, and they're nowhere as good as Michael.
We need a Yule Cat movie.
Yeah.
Just a giant cat killing kids and shit.
Yeah, and what's the one from Russia that's like an old woman that kidnaps children?
Baba Yaga.
Baba Yaga.
No, it's not that one. It's a different one.
Because Baba Yaga.
You know what Bobby?
Oh boy.
Yeah, Baba Yaga is like just a generic witch, but this one's like a. Is it Russia or Serbia? I can't remember, but there's this Christmas myth of this old woman that takes naughty children, kills them, and eats them in like a stew, and feeds them to her sons, the Yule lads.
Oh,
and ironically, all dressed like
those
Santa.
kids to good use.
Yeah,
they all look like little tiny Santas too. If you ever see pictures of this, I forgot what it's called.
Yeah, I did
like elves.
I did some illustrations.
No, they're like little short Santa Claus.
Oh.
Yeah, it's called the Yule Lads.
Lads.
Yeah.
I have never heard of that. That is a new one on me. The Yule Lads?
Yule Lads.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's their Christmas myth. They put Yule in front of everything.
Right. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Get that. But this Krampus, man, I will say this much. Usually they like to put the Krampus, they like to make the Krampus look like a demon, but he's he's definitely anti-Santa from this.
Yeah. I like how he's wearing a Santa mask. Like there's not his actual face. Like he's so dolled up in Santa. The Santa aesthetic that he even wears a mask.
It's Santa's skin.
It's very Jeepers Creepers, actually, to me. I don't know why I get that feeling. It's just...
Yeah, it does kind of look like Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. That's what came to mind anyway. Jeepers Creepers.
That's a great Christmas movie too. Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah, great feel-good movie.
Get you here.
I heard the second one was better than the first one, but I
wouldn't say any of those are good, but I love them for some reason. I love them. They're horrible, but I love them. If they're on, I will watch it. I haven't seen the third one yet.
I don't. Yeah, it's okay in my opinion. It's okay.
Garbage. It's garbage, but I like it. Sometimes those bad B movies are just good because of the fact, not because they're good, but just because cheese speaks to you. You know.
Yeah. Speaking of Christmas, Santa Claus Conquers the Martians.
That was bad, but good at the same time.
That was brilliant. We talked about that one on a previous stream too.
Yeah, on the
B movies ones. Yeah. Well, I mean, what have you seen the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special?
Sure did.
No, not yet.
Kevin Bacon's sitting there watching that.
He's laughing at it like, "Oh, that's
Kevin Bacon's
great."
in it.
Yeah.
Who does he play?
Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon.
Oh, okay.
See, Mantis and Drax have this idea that to cheer Peter Quill up for the holidays would be to get him his hero, Kevin Bacon. And that's all I'll say.
I liked it.
Is there a giant underground worm somewhere in the movie? Please tell me there is.
No, but he does reference his movies.
He does, yeah.
But not Tremors, but he references them. And he even referenced Friday the 13th, and I forgot he was in that.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
when they mentioned that, I was like, what? Jason Voorhees? What? He wasn't in that.
Yeah, it's the very first one.
Yeah, I forgot all about it.
Yeah. It's like if you're in the first of the horror movies, you might be famous. Johnny Depp. Kevin Bacon. Yeah. You get to be in everything. Aniston.
You know what else he's in? That I saw the other day and completely forgot he was in? Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yeah, he was the young guy in New York.
He's the guy that stole the cab from Steve Martin that made him have to go travel with John Candy.
No shit.
So if it wasn't for Kevin Bacon, we would never have got that wacky adventure.
Dude. What is it? 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. There you go.
It's like 2 degrees now. I mean, you can connect them.
Man, you want to talk about a Christmas movie? Now that movie right there,
Thanksgiving,
and I don't remember it too much. It's been years since I've seen it.
Yeah, I it was on, and I was in and out of the studio when it was on, but it's just like, wow, that movie. There's so many moments in that movie that are just laugh out loud.
What's interesting to me is you've got two comedians, right? And both of these comedians could play either of these parts.
Yeah.
You know, John Candy could have easily played Steve Martin's role, and Steve Martin could have easily played John Candy's role, and they have in the past. But it worked out so well.
That's one of those gems that everything happened at the right time to make such a brilliant movie, you know?
Yeah.
You don't get lightning in a bottle like that anymore.
No, absolutely.
It's a lot more rare nowadays.
Yeah. It's a very 80s movie because it's laugh out loud funny, but then at the very end it's very heartwarming as well.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of comedies were too, yeah.
And Jared, you know, I think the reason we don't get a lot of that now is because I think people are trying to make classics. And that's not how classics are made. Classics are
that's how I feel about Spirited, the Ryan Reynolds, Will Ferrell Christmas movie. I feel like they tried. I haven't seen it yet, but I feel like they're trying to make a classic. It's like,
when there's a group of people that are making something that everybody's got their heart into it and they're just feeling it and everybody's in the zone, that's where the classic comes from. You know, when the studio's trying to, you know, create the super soldier serum and make, you know, we need 8 new classics for the holiday season this year, and they're all turds, you know, and we get B-movie night.
And that's how I feel about Elf. People love that movie, and I'm like, I could do with or without.
Hey, now,
it's okay.
Now, Chad is not here to defend himself,
and thank God.
But you see, that's the thing about Elf. Everybody that I know that likes Elf they come from a younger demographic, as it were. You know, like they were born in like 1990s and up, and for them, they saw that movie. I don't particularly care for Jon Favreau. I think a lot of the stuff that he's involved in, that's good, is usually somebody else is there too. That's how I feel about it. Usually Vince Vaughn. But anyway,
maybe early in his career.
Yeah. A
lot of what made Iron Man good, I'll admit, was Jon Favreau. But yeah,
see,
he's usually Yeah, but you're right on most of his stuff. It is usually.
But that wasn't really Favreau, was it? Now that wasn't really Favreau.
Did he write and direct it?
If you talk to Jeff Bridges, there was a script, but nobody went off of it. Everyone made up the movie as they went along.
Exactly.
Like 90% of the script was all RDJ just going off key. So
basically, what he's able to do is to listen to somebody, and I will give him credit for that. So I don't hate on him because he listens. We would, in fact, if you look at the Mandalorian, you wouldn't have gotten Grogu as a oh, come on, gee, why do I lose my
Baby Yoda?
An effect. So it's a special effect. Damn it.
CGI
puppet.
No, yeah, you would have gotten him as CGI, but instead he's a
practical effect.
Practical
effect. Yeah.
Practical effect. Yeah, he's a puppet, right? And they were going to make Grogu CGI, but they listened to somebody and said, "Hey, no, if you make him CGI, you're just not going to have that."
Some of the cast.
It's the old guy from the first episode.
You're talking about Nick Nolte?
No. It's one of the guys that was with the doctor.
Yeah, he was the. This is the way.
Oh, the German guy, right?
Yeah, the German guy.
Oh, he's a legend too, and I can't think of his name.
He said, "We are actors. I know it's a puppet, but act."
Yeah.
And from that point on, they were like, "Oh shit, he's right."
And some of the cast, they were actually expecting like a green little thing that they would cue off of for, and then later on he would be added in the special effects. But they got this animatronic puppet that would just kind of look around, and they were all shocked by it and thought it was the cutest thing.
Yeah.
Well, you take into consideration that it would almost be insulting, even though George Lucas himself did it in the prequels, and only because you kind of had to. But Yoda was such a step up in technology and practical effects. When Frank Oz, puppeteered him, it was such a step up to really come up with something other than that when you can. I understand when you had Yoda's lightsaber scene, which I still do think that the fight with him and Palpatine was badass. But even still,
I was wondering where that was going to go.
Yeah, well, you couldn't do that with puppetry, right?
No.
But when you can do it with puppetry and you don't, it's almost insulting. They tried to do puppetry in episode 1. I don't know how many people remember that. But then
Yoda in episode 1, he looked nothing like Yoda.
I thought episode 1 it was full puppet. CG, but then later in by the time the third one got around, it was a puppet again.
No, it was a puppet in episode 1. Then it got such a kickback.
So it was reversed. Okay.
Yeah, they just ended up just CGI him.
Yeah, it was.
And Samuel L. Jackson is such a good actor. He was able to react from nothing being there.
Well,
he's acting with John Travolta, so that's not surprising.
Whoa!
Anyway,
Boom.
That is true. That is true.
Hi-hat snare.
And this is not to undermine any of the I'm not a fan necessarily of A Christmas Story. I have to go back and watch it when I'm older now. One. Well, it's one of those movies that I've seen, but it's all chopped up. Like I've never seen it all the way through from beginning.
It plays 24/7 this time of year.
Yeah, but I've seen it like the kid with the tongue with the
I trip up the Bulgaria.
Yeah. Which always puzzled me. Why didn't they just pour lukewarm water on it? Why'd they have to rip his head off the damn thing?
Because they're kids. They don't know.
No, the teacher did that.
The teacher did it.
It was comedy.
The teacher and the cops are around her, and you see her just take his head and go.
Because I think that's what kind of, I guess when I was younger, that's what kind of got me was all the adults were like assholes.
That's how you know it was true to life.
It's from a kid's point of view, so obviously the kid, all the adults except for his mom are assholes.
You gotta put your eye out. Goes outside.
I love how Santa just kicks him down the slide.
It was just horrible. I didn't like the way he was treated. That's not a Christmas movie, but it's totally a Christmas movie. It was like Christmas that you don't see as a kid. It's the Christmas that you start to see when you're in your teens.
Yeah.
You start getting older.
Basically, yeah.
But
It's funny how you.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, sorry. I said it's funny how you grow up. You know, you start out as these kids in these Christmas shows. How you're wide-eyed and you just love it. You love everything about Christmas. And I personally find myself growing up to be more like the father in a Christmas story. I'm just like, yeah, let's get it over with. Fuck it. But I wouldn't like a leg lamp though, personally. But
I have one. I just don't have it out yet.
You should.
Oh,
my brother.
You should have brought it.
It's that time of year.
I forgot it. I forgot about it. I haven't had time to get all my. I haven't had time.
Go get it. Go get it. We'll wait.
Yeah, we'll wait.
You know how long it'll take me to go through my closet outside?
We got it out.
It's not even a full-size lamp. It's like this big.
Yeah, I had a boss.
Hold it close to the camera. It'll look big.
And to think, you have all these things that are iconic: Rudolph's red nose, elves, and a leg lamp. I mean, that just kind of goes. It stands the test of time, right? I mean, regardless of how you feel about it.
Yeah. But I'll tell you, the ones that I enjoy the most are the cartoons, because even to this day, if a Charlie Brown Christmas is on, when he makes that speech at the end, I get choked up. And I'm 50 years old, and I'm like, oh my God, that's so beautiful. I've been seeing the thing for 50 years, but I'll still stop and watch it. Or Frosty the Snowman. I love that.
One that always worked for me was Rudolph. Was Rudolph, and again, what was the deal with Christmas movies and assholes? Because they're just full of them, especially the reindeer, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they would let it play
Santa,
the reindeer
and that's
game,
an asshole too.
His dad.
Oh, you got to hide that nose. I can't have a reindeer of mine with the glowing red nose. It's like, come on, man.
Freaking bigot. What the hell?
You freak.
Yeah. Like, you're supposed to be loving. I love every kid in the world. Well, except you. But I mean...
Yeah, no one likes a glowy nose. You bastard.
Yeah, I've always wondered, what was the elf dentist's name? But was he really an elf? Because he had hair and non-pointy ears, and the rest of the elves were bald with pointy ears. Made no sense. That's just me nitpicking.
I forget his name. Yeah, he wanted to be a dentist.
Like Sherman?
Yeah. I'm a dentist. I can't remember his name now.
Hold on, I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, because I don't think he's really an elf, because he doesn't have pointy ears.
Maybe his name was Buddy.
A misguided kid.
Yes, you're just some random kid that Herbie. Yeah, he's some random kid that Santa
That's
just
an elf
picked up
name
because he needed an extra.
That's an elf name. That's a proper elf name, isn't it?
Yeah, but look at him. He has no pointy
ears. He doesn't
ears.
have any. Yeah, hold on. I'm going to pull this up. Let's see if I can pull this up. Yeah, he doesn't look like an elf. I will agree with. He doesn't have the point. Everybody has like the pointy ears and everything, but not this guy. No, he's definitely a misfit elf. I bet you Santa didn't like him either. It's like, well, your ears are too
probably
round.
Not. It's like, well, I let Rudolph in. I got to let this little bastard in.
Well, yeah, because instead of working making toys 24/7, he wants to be a dentist.
Well, he's probably going to get good business with all them elves eating that candy up there in the North Pole.
Oh my gosh. He looks like he should be an actor. I'm into theater. Take that as you will.
He looks like a future troubled Hollywood child star.
See, that's when the term "they them" came out, because that's how he identified us.
Damn it! All right,
I'm a dentist. I'm a they them dentist.
We need a VH1's behind the music on him.
Oh my gosh, there is something that's like that for Rudolph. I can't remember what it was.
Was it really?
Did you ever see the Leaf Garrett one, where he goes and apologizes to his bandmate that he paralyzed? You see that with Herbie and Rudolph, Hey Herbie, hey Rudolph.
I feel like there was something like Robot Chicken did that or something around those lines.
I'm sure they did.
Yeah,
I'm sure they did.
Now hang on, Mitch, you brought back some memories. Leif Garrett was in a car wreck and paralyzed his bandmate. Was that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a famous behind the music where he actually goes and apologizes to the guy in the last third of the
That's something
episode.
that I knew.
Sorry, bring my legs back, you bastard.
Well, my sister was a huge Leif Garrett fan, and she had his posters all over the bedroom.
Agree, Carl. Agree.
So, yeah, but I do. That's something that you knew 35 years ago and forgot. So you just said it, and I was like, all these memories come rushing back. I'm like, well,
because if you ever watch it, is one of the most awkward things you'll ever see.
Yeah,
They're like,
I saw that.
So,
yeah.
Is the guy like looking back and forth at the camera and Leif Garrett like
he's thinking to himself?
No, he's just like this. He's like rubbing his hands.
How much am I getting paid for this shit?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in a wheelchair. Yeah,
but you're still walking around, aren't you?
Boy, if I could feel my legs, I'd get up and slap you.
Hey, have you seen Leif Garrett? That's enough of a punishment.
Say he can't feel his own. He can't feel his legs because he's
that's any rocker nowadays, man. None of them aged well.
Except, well, Keith Richards and Ozzy Osbourne haven't aged well, but they're pretty damn immortal now.
Well, that's because they're pickled good.
I always, you know what? Every time I think about those guys, I think about that Mr. Burns episode where he goes to the doctor, and they're like, you have every disease imaginable. The thing is, they're all like trying to fight through the door to get who's going to get in there first. And Burns like, I'm immortal. No, that's not what I'm saying. At any moment, you can die.
I'm immortal.
I'm immortal. Every time I think about that,
excellent.
like syphilis and AIDS and everything else like that's just trying to fight through the door. And who's going to kill Keith Richards first?
Eat that, Keith Richards.
Did you ever see the XFiles crossover that they did?
So.
That was one of my favorite episodes, I guess, because I'm such an XFiles and Simpsons fans. It's Homer sees an alien. Yeah. And Homer sees an alien in the woods one night, like a glowing alien, you're walking around. So like all the typical like UFO hunters come in, and then Mulder and Scully come in trying to find out, and come find out it's Mr. Burns trying to keep himself alive via radiation.
Yes, that seems legit.
Sounds about right.
That checks out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the funny thing is, it's actually a legitimate crossover because I think in an episode of XFiles they actually reference it.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Of course. Well, I'll tell you what. As far as like XFiles is concerned, and I haven't watched all of them, and that was another one as a kid I wasn't really interested in. But you come back to it, and it's actually a really great show.
Yeah.
And I see your XFiles poster over there.
Oh yeah.
Behind you. Yeah. But that not the last season. I didn't get to watch the last season, but the second to last season was freaking awesome. It was.
Which one? When they came back, or the original?
When they came
run?
back, yeah.
Oh yeah.
The one with Joe McHale, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it would have been interesting to have seen Robert Patrick and David Duchovny together for a few more episodes. I think you got one episode of that, but it would have been really kind of cool.
We got a few because in season 8, when Mulder comes back, because he left. Well, David Duchovny left the show, but he was in like half the 8th season. They're actually in a bunch of episodes together.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But then they did one like they were on a tank, not a tanker, but
an old cruise ship that was trapped in
and
time.
It was just those two. I think it would have been interesting to see them together for a little bit longer.
Robert Pattinson wanted to come back for the reboot, but his schedule wouldn't let him. Because that was one. Because that's one thing I really wanted to see was him, come back and like how that dynamic would have worked.
Yeah, again, for around that time, he wasn't like everything at that time too. So
right. So anyway,
Christmas.
Yeah, right. Christmas. We're gonna have to do it. There's the X-Files and a Simpsons show, not necessarily together, but that's a whole other thing because that's a zeitgeist in themselves, right? I mean. Honestly,
the funny thing about The Simpsons is back in the day when I had my first studio on Sunday nights, no matter what we were doing, how much work needed to be done, what football game was on where, we stopped, all 6 of us, went downstairs and watched The Simpsons every week.
Oh, yeah.
It was must-see TV. It was just great. And we all sat there and cackled like a bunch of kids.
Well, no, because you didn't know you were waiting for them to cancel that show at any time, and you were never going to see reruns of it again. And now I think we're in the season 32.
Yeah, who knew it would last this long, really?
Golly, look. But
it's like the reverse. You want it to die out of respect. It's like, you want the. I mean, it's on by it's on its last leg. The heartbeat, boop, boop. You just got to pull the plug, but no one wants to.
But I promise you, I would not be surprised if they say, "Okay, we're going to end it. This is going to be the final episode." Everyone would be there. I think it's a. Despite that, it hasn't really been funny for a while. Everybody would be there just to see it end. Some people would be there to see, is it dead yet? Or some people would be there because it's like family, right? But and kind of in a way, Simpsons is kind of Christmas because if you remember, it was the first episode of The Simpsons, wasn't it? When they got Santa's Little Helper.
Yeah.
It was a Christmas episode, right?
The Simpsons debuted on the Tracy Ullman show.
I do.
They were little shorts. Yeah,
looked a lot different.
Oh yeah, a lot different.
Well, I have the first season on DVD, and when I bought it, I was surprised because I completely forgot how different the characters were in that first season compared to later on.
Yeah.
Because first off, Homer was not an idiot; he was just kind of a disgruntled dad that hated his life. But then he just, over the course of like one season, by the time they got to 2, he's a complete idiot.
Yeah.
Well, he's probably suffers from kind of like onset dementia or early Alzheimer's or something.
Well, he does work at the radiation plant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. There you go. Right? There you go. Perfect example. Oh, I mean, if you got 3-eyed fish running around there, it's not too hard to believe that Homer might be a little dumb.
Especially if they're running around.
One thing I heard about those, like,
I'd be afraid too.
But I remember those shorts because I remember the Maggie short. The one where Marge comes in and she's singing to Maggie, rockabye baby in the treetops. When the wind blows, the cradle will rock. And all that. And then basically she walks out, have a good night. And then you could just see Maggie's eyes in the dark, freaking out, thinking about falling from a tree and stuff. Like, golly, nursery rhymes are really demented. I didn't even think like that. So the other day I was watching, they have on Netflix the toys that made us. They also have now the movies that made us.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really a fan of this movie. I know I said that a few times in this, but I wasn't really a fan of this movie. But I did go ahead and I watched the behind the scenes of Home Alone.
Oh.
And the thing about Home Alone, well, it was huge, right?
Yeah.
They didn't expect it to be as big as it was. In fact, it was a Warner Brothers film, and Warner Brothers dropped it. And it just so happened that over a course of a lunch, what's his name? The guy that wrote it.
John Hughes.
John Hughes.
Yeah, that guy.
Chris Columbus directed it.
He directed it, right?
Not that
John
Chris Columbus.
No, right.
He's old.
Yeah. The Harry Potter Chris Columbus. What was it? 9 months and everything. Well, part of that Spielberg circle, as it were.
Yeah.
But John Hughes he was having lunch with the guy at 21st Century Fox, and they weren't really supposed to know about any of this. So they weren't supposed to talk about it, but they were talking about it. And Warner Brothers was going in there, and they were shutting the production down. They said, "It's over, shut it down." And the producer guy that had just heard that 21st Century Fox said, "No, we'll give you the money. You finish the movie, it'll be ours," which is not actually supposed to be. I think it might have been illegal a little bit, but they said the producer was saying that the guy from Warner Brothers would go in, shut it down, costume department, shut it down, whatever, props, shut it down, and he'd go right behind them. No, we're not shut down. No, we're not shut down. We're not shut down. We're 20th Century Fox now. We're 20th Century Fox. Got to the guy. He said the guy turned around at the end of the hallway, looked at him, and said, and the producer said, "Nope, you're fired," and showed him out. So, but that was a movie. But that movie was. I'm not. Oh, never mind. Anyway, because Jerry goes, "You don't like anything." No, I don't like John Hughes. But the issue comes in where you have to say he was brilliant in the sense that he based that whole movie around Macaulay Culkin. Like Macaulay Culkin was the driving force on why Home Alone existed, all because of one other fantastic movie, Uncle Buck.
Uncle Buck.
Yeah. So it was Macaulay Culkin's, and he's good at it. He really is. You have to hand it to him. If you don't think Macaulay Culkin can act, I would say The Good Son was a pretty good indicator.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a creepy-ass movie.
Yeah.
I mean, who can you think? Him and Elijah Wood. That's if you're old like us, that's where you know Elijah Wood from. Get all this freaking elf and Hobbit nonsense. No, Elijah Wood was the guy from freaking Good Son or North. And oh, God help you if you remember him from North.
Huck Finn was in that.
Oh, he was Huck Finn. Yeah, see, but yeah, just hanging off the side of the cliff. Both of them. You got Macaulay Culkin in one, and you got Elijah Wood. And Elijah Wood's like, "Oh crap, I'm about to fall and die." And Macaulay Culkin's like, "I love you, mother. I love you. I love you. I just dropped your ass." It's like he's just, "Mother, that's me. I'm your son," or whatever the case he says to him. Just drops him. But I was showing my kids; they haven't seen Home Alone, but they know Home Alone, and it's just that. See, you know what I'm talking about? Everybody was doing that. And what was the appeal? What exactly was the appeal?
When you were a kid, that was everywhere, so you copied it?
It was cute.
Well, it was huge, though. Like, that came out in, what, 94?
90, I think.
Was
the
it
second
90?
one came out like 2 years later.
Oh
my gosh. Yeah, it was like 90, right. 91.
It's old.
Because I saw it in the theater, because I remember.
Yeah, we did too, yeah.
I was a little kid.
Yeah. Because okay, that makes sense. Because Joe Pesci was in that Goodfellas and something else he was in it.
My Cousin Vinny.
Was it My Cousin Vinny? Yeah,
could be.
Maybe.
He was in it.
Yeah, he had a string of hits.
It was like three totally different characters, but they're all uniquely Joe Pesci.
Yeah,
it was crazy. Yeah, I think it was My Cousin Vinny because that was an award winner too. My Cousin Vinny.
Yeah.
He had this way of
making
different characters sleazy in different ways.
Yeah.
Because we all know in real life they would have just killed him.
Oh yeah.
Marv and Harry would have just killed Kevin McCall.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think if
they would have gave up already in real life. I'd be like, let's go next door and try that house.
I just love the fact that freaking what was Daniel Stern's character? Harry?
Yeah.
No, Marv. Harry was Joe Pesci.
Yeah.
Harry was Joe Pesci. Okay. Yeah. The fact that I was thinking about that today. That he goes around, he leaves his calling card. They were the wet bandits, right? So he leaves his calling card everywhere. So when they turn on the water and they leave, right? And they're like, "Oh," the cops tells him at the end, "Oh, thanks for that. Oh, so you're the wet bandits, huh? Oh, good thing now we got all the other ones." We got you on everything. And I can't remember, did they escape in the second one or did they just get out?
They escaped.
It's been so long, I don't know.
But look,
I've always loved that movie because it takes place a year later, but it was made 2 years after the first one. So they keep talking about like, oh yeah, last year when but in the first one he's 8 because they actually say in the movie he's 8. And then in the second one they say he's 10. But it's supposed to be a year difference.
It's a leap year.
Yeah, there you go.
But Daniel Stern actually wasn't going to be in that movie. He turned it down.
Really?
And they actually got this guy, Daniel Roebuck, to play Marv.
I like him, but I think Daniel Stern made that part.
Yeah, well, so did they because he did not work out. At all, and Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern were friends. They were in some other movie together, right? And he's like, "Look, you got to get,
hey, look, you got to get my friend over there. His name is Daniel Stern. He's a good actor. Good actor."
My gosh, Joe Pesci has he had this golf, this tea time, right? Every day, like 9 a.m. Right? And the producer's like, "Okay, y'all need to be on set at 7 a.m." The producer said that Joe Pesci grabbed him by the collar and drug him to the directors or the executive producers' office. Said, "Do I got to be here at 7? Does he really have to be here at 7? Does he need to?" No, he doesn't have to be here at 7.
Have you ever heard of the movie? Yeah. In real life. Have you ever heard of the movie Bushwhacked that had Daniel Stern in it?
Yes.
That was supposed to have been a spin-off movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was originally supposed to be Marv getting out of prison on parole and somehow get wound up with the Cub Troop and him redeeming himself and all that. But I think there was a rights issue why they couldn't use Marv, so they come up with a completely different character. But that's why, if you watch any Home Alone movie and that movie back to back, they're the same character. He's
right. I remember that.
Felon, he's an idiot.
He's just going to get typecasted and everything.
Yeah.
Well, he was filming City Slickers when Home Alone came out, and that movie stayed at the box office for oh my gosh, freaking months.
Forever, yeah.
You remember when we were younger, movies used to stay in the theater more than a month long.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes 3, sometimes a year. Like E.T. was in theaters for a year.
Well, yeah, back then, if they're still making money, they didn't pull them.
They didn't pull them things.
All of the original trilogy Star Wars movies were well over a year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think the first Star Wars was in there for a year and a half.
Yeah.
Maybe longer. I might be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure it was definitely a year and a half at the least.
I got to give props to Mitch because I just realized what shirt he had on.
Oh, Wizards.
Oh, Wizards.
I'm jealous. I love that shirt. I need to. That's just so cool.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it at a convention a few years ago.
That's so cool. I saw that movie. God, I think I was 8 years old in the movie theater. And at the beginning, when the earth blows up, it scared the shit out of me.
You were 8?
I was like 8. Yeah. And I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be cool. It's a cartoon." And I knew nothing about Ralph Bakshi at the time. And I walked in and I sat down.
I don't think a lot of people did when they took their kids to Ralph Bakshi.
Yeah,
movies.
and then they show the planet Earth, and it blows up, and I'm like, I mean, it really affected me for a long time.
Is it that easy?
Oh man!
Oh, my God.
I remember my parents taking me to see Cool World.
I saw Cool
I was
World.
in second or third grade. They're like, "Oh, it's a cartoon movie. It's got that girl from Batman. Mitch loves Batman. Let's take him to see that."
It's a cartoon movie. You'll love it.
We left maybe 10, 15 minutes into it.
It was probably when the professor was on top of the car pissing. Oh, that wasn't the professor. I can't remember who it was. Pissing on the cop car or whatever. It was kind of like, okay, this might not be.
I can't remember.
No, I could have gone saw Cool World or I could have saw Pinocchio. I ended up seeing Cool World. So I think I was 11, 12 or something like that.
Yeah.
Carl says, once VHS tapes and later DVDs came out, people would not go back to the theater to see a movie a second or third time.
I think it depends on the movie. Like nowadays, I don't think I would go back a second or third time. But when I was in my 20s, depending on the movie or even younger, I would go back a second time.
Oh, yeah. We did all the time. We'd go back and see, especially the Star Wars movies or Aliens or Ghostbusters or any, the big summertime.
See, I wish, that's the only reason why I wish I was older to be able to see the original trilogy in theaters.
Oh, it was amazing. And you had to wait. That's the funny thing when we saw Avengers Infinity Wars. And when the movie was over, everybody got up and they were pissed. They were like, "Oh my God,
we gotta wait! God damn it!"
I don't. And I yelled. I said, "I don't want to hear it. I had to wait 3 years for the next Star Wars movie. Shut the hell up!" Well, that's when I was your age. I had to wait 3 years in between Star Wars movies.
I had
77, 80, and
83 Star Wars
then
movies.
I said, "Get off my lawn!"
I mean, look how long these people have to wait for Avatar 2.
Wait, somebody's waiting for that?
I was hoping to hear crickets. I was hoping to hear crickets. Nobody's waiting on that garbage.
I can't do crickets.
I can't.
Now, those movies you got to give credit. At least they look good.
Do the room like cheep cheep, but chirp 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 cheep cheep.
We need a sound effect scene.
But one movie that came out at the same time Home Alone did was, and it's always been a classic to me. And if you knew National Lampoon was going to do this, you'd know it was going to be bad, which was Christmas Vacation.
That's a classic.
Oh, golly. Awesome. I don't care how big of a jerk Chevy Chase is, right? I mean, it's just
well,
he made
that's what makes him so great as an actor.
Yeah,
he's Clark Griswold is. I mean, he loves his family, but at the same time, he's kind of a jerk.
He is. He was.
Is it really that he loves his family, or is it that he's just trying to create like something that he wants?
In every movie, he's doing something for his family. Like he's trying to have like a great family vacation in the first one, and the second one.
Well, even then, I think everybody
European vacation, right?
Yeah.
At a certain point, the whole family would have been fine with going anywhere else. I think it started out with this big family adventure, but by a certain point, the family were like, I would just rather go home.
Yeah,
and it became a point to him. I forget his name in the movie.
Clark Griswold.
Clark. To a point, it got to Clark as if it was just his thing now. He's going to do this. He's going to do it for the family. He's going to finish this and see it through. And
he always had to learn that lesson, didn't he? He always had to learn that lesson.
But it made it funny.
But there had to be a kidnapping. Somewhere in there had to be a kidnapping, right? They either kidnapped John Candy to go into Wally World, or you had cousin Ernie?
Cousin Eddie.
Cousin Eddie
kidnaps his boss, played by Bill Murray's brother.
By who?
By Bill Murray's brother.
Yeah, Brian Doyle Murray played his boss in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that was Bill Murray's brother, though. Mm-hmm. What?
Yeah, that's Bill Murray has 3 brothers that act.
Yeah.
Brian Doyle Murray, I think Joel Murray, and a third one that I always forget his name. But yeah, he's got.
And Chevy Chase, he was like, "Hey, Bill, I can get you this role," and then give it to his brother just out of spite.
and speaking of Christmas, all 3 of his brothers are in Scrooged.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Well, because his brother, he's not the chairman, but what was he? His producer in the.
Brian Doyle Murray played his dad in the flashback. Then in the scene where he goes to his brother's house, and they're playing Trivial Pursuit. Both the guy playing his brother and his brother's friend sitting across from him are also his brothers.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Dispatch is where you learn useless trivia.
Well, no, but I've seen that guy. I've seen that guy like a whole bunch of different times. Like he was in the middle for a long time. He played the boss in the middle, and so I didn't realize he was Bill Murray's brother. But I mean, what the hell do I know about Bill Murray? Except he appears and disappears at will.
I know the only way to get a hold of him, to get him in a movie, is to dial an 800 number. And then you have to wait. Shows up. Then there's a waiting game after that.
Do you know what Harold Ramis had to do to get him to do Groundhog Day?
No, there's no telling.
Oh my gosh, he had to film. He basically had to film the parts where Bill Murray would be interested in playing the role, like at the end where he really needed to act in Groundhog's Day. He really needed to act. Yeah, and so they filmed the last parts first because Bill would. But by the time Bill got disinterested, it was okay for them to film the first part of that movie because he was kind of an ass at the beginning. So,
he's actually a really good dramatic actor.
Bill Murray, he tried that though, right? He didn't.
And Sofia Coppola's movie, what was that?
Lost in Translation. He was also in
Wes Anderson
Pictures. Pictures Man, or the George Clooney movie about the soldiers that went and found the art. And
Monuments Man.
Monuments Man. Yeah, he was in that. He was great in that. You guys seen that?
Yes, I like to call it Mediocre Bastards.
That's a great movie.
What are y'all doing?
Let's go ahead and take a bump. I have no idea
what you doing.
I
saw what looked like a cat.
We need to give you guys a minute.
As long as it looked like a cat and not something else. It will be right.
Hey, Nick.
Hey, awesome.
only show for independents all around, giving you a platform to spread your word all over town. Catch the Craze is the place to promote to your fans with the dream of Medina and Sam the Crazy Man. Subscribe to our show and never miss an episode. It's time to get your meds, listen to us on the go. Updated every week, we never miss a day. Join the squad, come on in. It's time to catch the craze. If you are an independent, catch the craze. Making moves on your own, catch the craze. On your grind in the streets, catch the craze. Join the movement, catch the craze.
Yeah, George, we did it again. Come on now. You know you want to do it. Catch the craze.
It is difficult to write these words, but I must for my own sake. I have done, seen, and been part of many things in my life.
Have a question or comment for us to address on the show? Have a topic you want us to talk about? Email us at indiecomicsnetwork@gmail.com. Want your comics to arrive in pristine condition? Head over to GeminiComicSupply.com and save 10% on your next Gemini mailer order or anything in the Gemini Comic Supply store. Use coupon code RAGIN10. That's RAGIN 10.
With a few exceptions, the characters on this program are weird and peculiar and not to be trusted.
That's mean.
Oh, right. Well, I mean, truth hurts, right? So JD's coming out the woodwork with these movies that I could not. I'm sorry. Survival Style 5+, also a Christmas movie.
Never heard of it.
Never. And then he comes. Rare Exports is another one.
Oh, Rare Exports is good. Yeah, that's like a Swedish film, I think. It's good.
Yeah. Okay, now since you've seen it, tell me what it's about.
Well, it's about these guys capturing Santa Claus, I believe. I don't remember what else happens, but they catch him.
Yeah, it's like apparently these like archaeologists or something find out that the myth of Santa is based on like an actual demon that you know, that targets children, and they find him, and and then he escapes and everything. I don't want to give it away, but yeah, it's a good
Sounds
movie.
pretty cool. Actually.
Everyone lives happily ever after.
I have never heard of it. You said
it came out like 15 years ago or more.
Yeah, because there was a slew of Christmas themed horror movies that came out at the same time, centered around Santa Claus. There was that one. Then there was a movie, I think, from Switzerland called Saint, which kind of, is basically the same things. Santa's a demon and he kills people. And there was a third one. Yeah. Yeah, there was a third one. I can't remember what the third one was, but yeah, it was an evil Santa movie. Y'all came out within the same year, I think. Yeah, but Saints, pretty cool, like slasher style movie.
Rare Exports. Huh.
Yeah. Let me see if I can get it to come up.
Ooh.
Well, do it. Why? Okay. Sometimes StreamYard, sometimes you make it hard. Yeah, I've never seen this.
2010. So 12 years ago.
This kind of reminds me, what was that one that they had that was, I think it was Dutch, where it was like elves or something like that, but they were...
Well, that one just came out, didn't it? It's called Elf?
Is it
Elves?
Well, there's a movie from the 80s called Elves. I can't remember. remember if that's. I don't know if that's what C's talking about or not, because I think there's been a few killer elf movies.
This was, I just remember that there was like a place that you didn't go and it was behind the wall or something. And I guess they had elves. I think it was called elves.
Wasn't that Prison Break?
No, it was Game of Thrones.
I thought it might have been that. Sounds like that Sylvester Stallone Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
Yeah. You like how we've waited years to get Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger in a movie together, and it's both when they're over the hill.
And they
actually
crap.
Get one.
That's what they should call it.
Crap.
Over the hill.
Over the hill and through the woods to dead grandma's house we go.
Do you think they'll ever see that? There'll never be that that time again. Remember when we were younger, you had those action movies that you just had these action heroes. They were bigger than life. You had Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Eventually, Wesley Snipes kind of came in the 90s.
Yeah.
Mel Gibson, to a certain extent, with like Lethal Weapon and everything,
Bruce
it wasn't
Willis.
as big as it. Bruce Willis.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you really want to stretch Steven Seagal.
Well, Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
True.
You know, all the Patriot Games movies. Yeah.
Air Force One.
Well, Indiana Jones. I mean, even, you know.
Yeah.
Fugitive.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
The horror movie with the Father Christmas mask.
Father Christmas
I can't recall
mask.
the name either, Mitch.
Because Mitch knows probably. He's good at that stuff, man.
Look at his
wheels. It'll probably be like early in the morning. Oh, it's that movie. It always happens.
He'll sit up and blurt it out and scare his dog.
In his sleep, he just wakes up.
When you do, you should text it to us at dispatch in the group.
I will.
It's all that Comics reading. That's what it is.
I'll be like, that son of a bitch, I gotta work in the morning. What's he saying?
So, Mitch, if you were going to pick a definitive Christmas movie, what would it be?
A Christmas Story.
A Christmas Story?
Yeah. Because
that's no good. We already talked about that one.
Well, I mean, I can name others that aren't definitive Christmas movies.
No. Go ahead. Explain why you think so.
Well, because it's really about the nostalgia that you have, or like the mood that later on becomes nostalgia when you're a kid around Christmas. Like it's, the whole movie's basically about being a kid, and when you're a kid, your favorite holiday is usually Christmas. And it's, from the point of view of someone that age, looking back on what's supposed to be the happiest time of year, and to him it is, it is. But, it really encapsulates just that mindset of the awe around Christmas when you're a kid. And being an adult and realizing how silly it was.
And it's the entire movie from the very beginning is about the buildup and the anticipation of Christmas morning, which is what Christmas season's all about anyway. And then wrap that around the kids in school with all your buddies, everybody, if you're old enough, you walk back and forth to school in the snow. You had snowball fights with your friends. There was always the neighborhood bully. I mean, it just touched so many people on so many different levels.
Yeah, like how every time he tries to voice, what he wants for Christmas, he's shot down.
Yeah.
So he just keeps going to every person he knows, trying to see if they'll get it for him.
And the funny thing
his dad, is the one who had it all along.
When the very first time I saw that, when he walked out on the back porch, spoiler alert, and he shot that rifle, I said out loud, he's gonna put his eye out, watch. And sure enough. That was the very first
they've
time
been
I'd
telling
seen
you
it.
the whole movie he was going to.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, okay, it's going to really happen too, isn't it? Watch. And boom, there it was. I was like, yeah, okay. I think this show's a keeper.
Well, like Jared said, that scene where Santa Claus and the elf are pushing him down the slide. There's something very. Yeah, right. It's very Suspiria, right?
Right in the camera.
Yeah, the angle, the wide,
elf behind him. Yeah,
it was obviously on a fisheye lens because every the borders are curved. And it's that kind of helpless feel to it. When he finally
it's like every '90s music video in that one moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where they all came
just with
from.
less Prodigy playing in the background.
They all watched Christmas Story. That's a great look. Let's do that.
That's a brilliant
Another
effect.
piece of worthless trivia: the guy that directed that movie also directed another Christmas classic, Black Christmas.
The original, I assume.
Which one? The original?
The original with Keir Duella from 2001. God, I know a lot of worthless shit.
How many of those have they made? They've made like 3 of those, huh?
Yeah,
At
3.
least.
Yeah, 1 original that was great and 2 horrible remakes.
Oh, have you guys seen Black Friday with Bruce Campbell?
No, I want to.
Bruce
though.
Campbell.
Man,
There's a
it's so
comic
bad
called
it's
Black
good.
Friday that I've always wondered if it's the same thing because it's about a department store the day, like after Black Friday ends and they're trapped with monsters. So I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know if
kinda
it's
like-
the
well, it's-
same. I don't know if it's
Black
based
Friday.
on it or. I don't know.
Well, it's they're there at night, right? They're basically there at Thanksgiving, right? The day Thanksgiving
Yeah,
night
Black Friday.
and into Black Friday. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's Devin. If Devin Saw, who like looks like he's had a pretty rough life. If you remember,
Oh,
Devin
He's
Sawa,
our
sure
age.
he
It looks
has.
like he's twice our age.
Oh yeah, SLC Punk, Casper. What else was he
Yeah.
in? That one. Now and then,
Idle hands.
and he was kind of like a heartthrob for a while.
Yeah.
With the little magazines they used to have on the rack, you know, the
Teen
little
Beat.
magazines. Yeah,
He was
stuff
he
like
was
that.
in an episode of Hacks, and he picked up Gene Smart in a bar, and I'm just like, this dude looks so familiar. So I'm looking up the episode. I'm like, that's Devin Sawa. He looks he looks like he's 52 instead of 42.
I know he doesn't look the same, man.
Well, look at
It's
Macaulay
like, okay.
Culkin. Have you seen him lately? Good God.
Well, I'm sure Devin Sawa's got the same excuse: drugs. and
I'll say this
alcohol,
about Macaulay Culkin though, he did good.
Yeah,
He's with what's her name, Brenda Song from the Disney Channel.
who he was with Mila Kunis before. So
Yeah,
they were together a
did good.
long time.
Huh? He was on the Howard Stern show probably 5 years ago, and he was dating an Asian.
Yeah, Brenda
yes, like
Song.
Brenda Song.
They have a
Okay,
baby
yeah.
together now.
Yeah. But he seemed like he had his shit together. He was pretty.
He's had his shit together for a good,
Yeah.
good while now.
Now, you know,
Oh, yeah.
his brother
brothers
is in
can
a
act.
lot of stuff
Karen,
lately.
yeah.
All of
Yeah.
them. But,
He was
Like,
in
you have-
Lords of Chaos, which was a
which
good
is
movie. I
actually pretty
thought.
good. It was
Yeah.
a pretty good
I
movie.
mean,
Scott
it wasn't
Pilgrim.
based on the true story. It was based on, but it's
He's in
it was a good movie.
You have Court. Well, you have Karen, and you have Karen's the one that's kind of come up a little bit more, you know.
Yeah.
But the other one who was around, he was also at Home Alone. He had the glasses.
That's
he had the
Kieran
glasses.
Culkin.
Is that Karen? Well, who's the other one?
I forgot his name. The youngest one.
The one in the one. I think the one in Lords of
Well,
what
which one
you're
was
talking
in,
about?
Kieran
Lords of
Culkin was
Chaos?
in Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Yes, that's yes. But the Rory Culkin
Rory.
is the one that was in Lord of Chaos.
Oh, okay.
He was the one
Yeah.
from.
Him and Kieran look just alike, so
They do.
I can't
They
tell.
do. Well,
them
they didn't
apart.
used to be because Rory used to be kind of a chubby little thing. He was
It's
inside.
like they had the same parents. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was also in City on the Hill, the Showtime series with Kevin Bacon.
Oh, I think I didn't see it, but I
yeah,
think
he
I
actually
saw it.
played the junkie that got his daughter strung out.
Oh,
Yeah,
Figures.
yeah. That's about right.
and the guy that plays a Hawkman in Black Adam, the black guy, Eldridge Hodge. Right? Isn't that him?
I couldn't tell you. I haven't seen Black Adam.
Yeah, he plays a district attorney in City on the Hill. He's really, really good.
Mm.
See, I remember that because I want to say is that the one Kevin Bacon's a cop?
Yeah, he's a FBI agent. Yeah, Boston PD. It's a really
Okay.
good.
Because the thing about Kevin Bacon, you can say, is that the one where he's a cop? And you could go like,
I like how we kind of start out with Kevin Bacon.
That's
Yeah,
kind of why I
back
brought
up
it up
to-
because
It
it
comes
brings
back
us.
around.
It's towards the end of the show. We kind of circle back
Six
around
degrees,
with Kevin
yeah.
Bacon. Yeah, you get.
We
I
do
had
that a
thought-
lot. We circle
I had to
back
see.
a
I
lot.
set it up, and you guys knocked it down.
You act like it's not on purpose.
It's always
But no,
synergy.
Kevin Bacon, it's like, was this when he was a cop? And it's like, it could be that one, Mystic River. The one he did with Tim Robbins and
Jeez, I forgot about that one. Yeah.
Sean Penn.
Yeah.
I get lost on Kevin Smith movies. I'm like, wait, what movie was that? I remember the movie. I just don't remember.
Wow. Mystic River was the one where they were all three childhood friends. Sean Penn was kind of a former mobster gangster.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Tim Robbins was kind of a simpleton, I guess, is one way to say it.
That makes
Something
sense.
had happened to him. He was kidnapped. He was kidnapped.
Tim Robbins playing the movie, though.
Oh, wow.
That's a joke.
Wow.
That's a joke.
I'm with Mitch on that one. I'm with Mitch on that one.
I got to admit.
Hey, look, his best role will always be Howard the Duck. Anyway.
He's just a guy that's been lucky with his career.
Tim Robbins?
Yes. Shawshank Redemption. He's just been lucky.
Yeah, because let's face it, really, it was Morgan Freeman that made that movie. It was Morgan Freeman, Clancy Brown, and yeah, that's about it.
Anything Clancy Brown or Morgan Freeman's in is still
Will Sadler. Will Sadler was in Shawshank, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was the
he
was
fantastic.
he the guard?
That's the guy that's
He was the guard, right? The prison
No, that's
guard?
Clancy Brown.
Oh no, so he was the
he was one of the. He was the guy that the old man held his knife up to his throat.
Yeah.
Strawberry blonde hair.
Yeah.
William Sadler's one of those actors that is always typecast as like the badass or the bad guy, but when he's able to stretch his acting ability, he's great.
You know, $10 if you tell me his best role.
Die Hard 2.
As Death in Bill and Ted.
All right, Mitch gets $10.
Yeah.
What do you say, Demon Knight?
I'll give you my address.
What'd you say, Demon Knight?
Not Demon Knight. Death in Bill and Ted.
Death. I said that.
Did you? I didn't hear it.
Yeah.
Maybe I just want to give Mitch $10.
Maybe so.
But if you want to, I'm here.
But you still have to give it. You still have to give it to. Yeah. See, Carl gets $10.
Carl gets. You all get $10.
Sweet.
You get $10.
Merry
You
Christmas.
get $10. You get $10.
But Will Sadler, the thing is, with Demon Knight, you know, he was in Demon Knight, but also there was a connection between Will Sadler and Tales from the Crypt, other than Demon Knight, right, Mitch?
He was in the intro to one episode. Probably one of the best. He was Death from Bill and Ted in that episode.
No, he was in the first Tales from the Crypt.
That too, yeah. He played the executioner.
The electric chick. Yeah.
Yeah, but I still love the Death opening, though. You know, where Death's like, you know, drunks, you know, talking to the Crypt Keeper. He's like, you know, well, Crypt Keeper, do you know why I'm here? And the Crypt Keeper's, you know, in monologue going, yeah, to eat all my food and drink all my liquor.
Oh, that
Crypt Keeper was in the first episode.
Oh, that guy. I miss him.
They almost brought him back.
Let's see an episode of where they're at now. See where Crypt Keeper is. I think he's
probably in a warehouse collecting dust.
I hope it didn't end up like Yoda. Have you seen Yoda? Oh my Yoda.
Don't hurt me, please.
Hoggle from Labyrinth. Oh my gosh, they just threw that puppet to the side. I mean,
they probably did.
They did.
It's just like the first suits in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. They're all decayed and rotten, and it's weird how things have aged when you don't take care of them.
Well, Jim Henson didn't give a damn. He would throw Ernie on the floor or whatever the case is. It was Carol Spinney who did Big Bird, and of course I know I talk too much about Jim Henson, but Carol Spinney got on it like don't treat them that way. Don't treat them that way. And look, we were able to keep Big Bird and Oscar around for a long time. So.
Well, it's like Warner Brothers and Disney throwing all the animation cells in a dumpster because they ran out of room to store them.
That's why you just give them to me. Disney, you wouldn't even be hemorrhaging money right now if you did that.
They didn't think of the merchandising aspect. They could put stores in malls back when people went to malls and sell them for $300 a piece.
Well, it's just like Marvel and DC, right? When they were giving away, or at least Marvel was giving away sheets of comic pages.
Yeah.
Like, oh, here, we got this. We're done. Here you go. Have some comic pages, kids. Woo! You know?
They're probably all Jack Kirby's.
Probably.
Screw that.
Hey, I would gladly take one.
Hell yeah.
Huh?
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
The way they treated their artist.
That's what Marvel is known
let's
for.
be honest, they still do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why you get good guys leaving all the time.
Yep.
Anyway,
But
back
this
to
is
Christmas.
This is Christmas, right?
Christmas.
Chris.
Well,
See,
you
what
talk-
was your favorite all-time Christmas movie? Did you talk about that?
No, I don't talk about myself on there.
Well, why not? This is your
No,
show.
'cause
Let's
it's-
talk about it. Let's hear something you like.
No, I would have to. Mine would probably be Scrooged, honestly.
Yeah.
Scrooged or Christmas Vacation. I've probably seen Christmas Vacation more than Scrooge, but I liked Bobcat Goldthwait. So, for some reason, I was a Police Academy fan. I was. Do you remember that movie Hot to Trot with the talking horse? Oh my gosh!
You mean to tell me?
And of
there's
course,
a
his
movie
appearances
with
on Married with
Bobcat-
Children.
There's a movie with Bobcat Goldthwait and a talking horse.
Oh my
And I
gosh!
don't
You
know
haven't seen
about
Hot
it.
to
You
Trot?
haven't
Mitch?
seen Hot
No.
to Trot?
Oh,
I have
really?
to see this.
Oh my gosh! Yes, it was an
yeah.
awesome. That was a horribly awesome movie.
It's one of those so bad it's good.
And the scariest thing
Well, I
about
assumed
it
that
is
was Bobcat Goldthwait. It.
Yeah.
the scariest
Most
thing
of his
now is
stuff.
that Bob is sober now.
Yeah.
Yes,
It is so weird hearing him in an interview. Just
Yeah.
being normal without his
Yeah.
character.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Before he passed, sadly, Gilbert Gottfried did a podcast where he would interview basically just people, like other celebrities and stuff. And him and Bobcat Goldthwait had the same, your thing where their voice that they're known for is an act. Like if you ever hear Gilbert Gottfried, actually speak, and there's an episode where he's interviewing Bobcat Goldthwait, and you can't tell it's those two because it doesn't sound anything like
it
them.
doesn't sound like.
But at the
There
end
was a
of
Steve Guttenberg movie with Gilbert Gottfried where he was kind of like a slimy lawyer or whatever, and he didn't sound like that. He used his normal voice.
I like the story of how that came to be, like how his onstage persona.
If you can make
you ever heard
money
that?
from it, you do it.
Yeah, what is it?
What is it, Mitch?
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
right.
No,
because I haven't heard it. I don't know.
When he started off doing stand-up comedy, he his whole life he wanted to be a comedian, but he always had stage fright. So one day when he went up on stage to kind of try out, he kind of had like a nervous attack, and he closed his eyes and he started yelling because apparently that's what he does when he's nervous. And people in the audience laughed at it because it was funny, so that just became his act. It was where he would squint and just yell, at the top of his lungs, kind of like I'm doing now.
That's all.
If it works and it makes you money, you milk that cow.
Absolutely.
There's a great documentary, and that's where I learned that from. I think it's still on Hulu, just called Gilbert.
I'll have to watch that one. I love that. Yeah,
I will have. Yeah, I didn't know he had
It was
one.
made
I
right
love
after his
Gilbert
sister.
Gottfried. I did.
No, right before his sister died. His sister had a
that was sad.
long
We
battle
lost
of cancer.
We lost. We lost Gilbert. We lost Louis Anderson this
And
year.
Bob Saget.
And Bob Saget.
They all took one last picture together.
I know. I saw that. I saw that picture.
That's creepy.
It is. It is a little creepy.
What was in oh shoot. Just move on. I can't remember his name.
So we're talking about. We've been talking about movies that just kind of take what's considered a cheery holiday and turning it on its ear and kind of making, like we're talking about Christmas Story and nostalgia and kind of taking that and turning it on its ear. Like it's nostalgic, but it's still kind of horrific or kind of jarring. I wouldn't say horrific. Might not be the right word. Kind of jarring. Is that possible to put that in the stuff that we're doing and creating?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think it's all about story-driven elements. That's what all these Christmas movies are evolving around. It's not just Christmas, but that deep feeling you get, like Rodney was saying. It's the build-up, for Christmas Story or whatever it is. And it's just the heartfelt stuff, really, because it rings a bell in your mind, so you're interested. You watch it.
Yeah.
Everybody say hello to Sherman.
Hello, Sherman.
Yeah, wrong direction.
Sherman, you're on camera. Behave yourself.
He's giving us a show.
He doesn't
Look at
care.
him. He's just going to say, hey, if you could do it, you do it too.
How do you know I'm not doing it?
Oh, that's true.
Right now.
You could
hand check.
If You take Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
You take Nightmare Before Christmas, and you take us Halloween and Christmas, and you make it a movie that's both, which is, thank you, Harry Selick. Poor guy says he doesn't get any credit. I want to make sure he gets credit. And then he did it.
Yeah,
let's face it, Tim Burton movies wouldn't be
that.
anything without Danny Elfman's score. Yeah. So,
I think it's funny that when you ask people, what's your favorite Tim Burton movie? Most of them go, Nightmare Before Christmas. It's like he had like nothing to do with that movie. It was based on a book he wrote. That's it.
Well, no, it was a poem. It was like a small poem. It had nothing,
but they released it as a book and as illustrated.
They had to actually make up the story.
Yeah.
For it, because what it was Disney. Tim worked for Disney, and he kind of drew that kind of stuff, those characters, while he was on Disney property, which is all you need to do, right? That's all you need. And basically, Tim Burton was big with Batman, Beetlejuice, Edward Scissorhands, and they wanted to capitalize on that. Tim, so they took that poem and they're like, okay, well, we're going to expand on it. And yeah, Tim Burton was involved in some way, but it was really.
You did most of the character designs, right?
No, I don't.
No, they're based on his illustrations he did for the poem.
Right.
Yeah, but it wasn't.
Which is one of the reasons why it's shocked me until very recently that people are acknowledging Disney's evil. Because if you work for them, it doesn't matter if you're creating for them or not. Anything you come up with in that time period is theirs.
It's theirs.
Did you know that?
And with that, this seems like a. Hold on. This seems like a good time to announce. Next week, we'll be starting our Disney December. We'll be talking about the various things. Next week, we'll be talking about Disney's animated features. So tune in for that. I'm sorry.
We love you, Disney.
I don't. Fuck you.
No, Disney artists, when they do sketches at conventions, comic book conventions, they're not allowed to do them in color.
Is that right?
Yes. I have a 11 by 17 Stitch and Lilo that I can't remember who the artist is, but he did it with a grease pencil, and he wouldn't color them. And I told him, I said I'd pay him. He said, I'm not allowed. And this was back in 90, 98, 99. And he explained to me that no Disney artists are allowed to color anything.
I'll be damned. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Huh. I'm surprised.
You'd be surprised all the stuff that Disney has, people tied up with.
Yeah.
Frank Forte, who shows up, and maybe I could get him on one day. Him and John Celestri come on and talk about animation and everything. But Frank Forte, who's done Bob's Burgers, Rick and Morty, and that kind of stuff. He said one time, he told us that he was doing stuff. I think I'm pretty sure it was Bob's Burgers and Bob's Burger style. Drawing people in Bob's Burger style. They told him he couldn't do that. They shut him down. Said nope. I think he can do it in Rick and Morty, and I might have that backwards. I think he can do it in the Rick and Morty style, but he cannot do it in the Bob's Burger style. I was like, nope, you got to shut that down. You can't do that.
Now, how much bullshit is that?
Like it's a big deal, right?
Yeah.
But
if they're the only ones allowed to make money off of it.
I mean, come on now. I mean, you're not paying them enough. You're not. That, especially with that show that's been on for like 13 years. And then if it's Rick and Morty, golly, how big is that show?
Yeah.
That you couldn't.
Well, it also depends on like the company that he's working, that does, because Rick and Morty is
Cartoon Network, huh?
Yeah, Cartoon Network, but I can't remember.
Warner
Is
Brothers.
it Viacom or Warner Brothers? Okay. Well, it's one of the non-Disney companies.
Yeah, now that you said that, then I think about it, and Bob's Burgers is probably 20th Century Fox.
Yeah, now it's owned by
Disney.
So
Disney.
So Linda Belcher is actually a Disney princess. That's what we come to.
That's what they say about Peg Bundy too, but I'm not sold.
Yeah, no, they weren't really princesses though.
well, neither was half the Disney princesses. They weren't.
This is true. This is true. This is true.
That's true. Yeah.
Mulan.
Rodney,
thanks, sir.
Where can we find you next?
What's today? Tuesday? You all can find me on Thursday right here on the Indie Comics Network for Thursday Night Throwdown. where we will have Russ Cassidy and his lovely wife with us, as well as Richard Jones III will be with us as well, and Richard and I will both be drawing. You can catch me on Saturdays, again, right back here for Sketchy Saturdays with C and the aforementioned John Silvestri and others. And you can also find me on Facebook, Instagram, and the Twitcher, Rodney Fike Art. You can find me at the Hasm YouTube channel, and go to hasm.com. That's HAZZUN.com, and check out all of our books, such as Peanut Pudding and Jelly, Unchained, Pitter Patter, and Roadkill Rampage, and soon to be Doghouse.
There you go.
Hello.
Yo, Jared.
Yo, this is me, Jared. Oh yeah, you. I would say you can find me.
We can't find you right now. So.
Well, you can find me in 2 days on Facebook. I have currently been banned because I'm a bad boy. Apparently.
Shame.
It's all fun and games till you don't call someone indirectly ugly. But anyway, you can in 2 days you can find me there. Jared Lockhart 80. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter and Hive, even though I can't upload pictures.
Oh, good. I'm trying to still figure out Mastodon. It's like I think I need to go back further to pterodactyl or something.
What was funny is with Hive, I actually earlier when we started the podcast, the show, I went on there to Hive and to see if I could upload pictures on my computer, but no, it's only app accessible. So
yes,
I don't know what's the point of even having it if you can't.
Makes perfect sense.
So, yeah,
that's
a lot of people have it and use it and have no problem, but here I am having problems.
Yeah, Nita says she's going to put something on there, but she doesn't want to mess around with it until they make it. You can use it on desktop. So
yeah. Well, hopefully they will.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
Mitch.
Well, unlike Jared, you can today find me on Facebook. You can find me at Linktree/Celtic Cross Studios, where you can find my webcomics, webpage, online store, socials, and everything. On Facebook, if you've been keeping up with me, I just dropped a prelim for the cover to the Boger #1, and I asked people to see which one they like best, and that would be the standard cover. So if you're interested, go over there and vote, voice your opinion, and you can also find me most Wednesdays on ZimmCast with Randy Zimmerman and Sunday Funnies also with Randy Zimmerman and others. In Facebook. You can find me on Facebook.
With Randy Zimmerman. No, just kidding.
I don't know what Facebook is.
You don't, do you? No. Sucker. Anyway, Carl says another good show, guys. Jake,
thank you.
What's up, Jake?
You, Carl.
He's JD Calderon. See Krampus. Think you'll like that one.
Krampus was fun.
I liked it. I didn't go in expecting to be an Academy Award-winning movie. I didn't get an Academy Award-winning movie. What's the guy's name that played? He was champ in the Anchorman.
David Ketchner.
David Ketchner. I can never remember his name. Fantastic in it. I included in the monologue, in the montage earlier.
Yeah.
But
versus Gingerbread Man.
Okay, but I did include one we didn't touch on. I want to touch on it real quick. Now you have the Die Hard debate, whatever. But we have agreed now that Gremlins is a Christmas movie, right?
Well, yeah.
If you want it to be.
Batman Returns is a Christmas movie.
I did not realize how much Christmas there was in Gremlins. I mean, after all, Gizmos, yeah.
I've never seen Gremlins.
What? Rodney!
You have to turn your nerd card in, sir.
Anyway, so
we do not need that negativity, sir.
Oh my God, Rodney, you love it.
That's part of my homework assignment. I know.
It's a good movie.
Love the first one, and you will adore the second one because it's nothing like the first one, but it's its own thing.
What streaming service is it on? I'll watch it while I'm working.
That's a good question. I don't. I have them on DVD,
might be on,
so I don't know.
Is it a Disney property now?
HBO.
HBO.
Venus says HBO.
Cool. There you go.
Yeah, I went through a Gremlins fast. I went to see the movie when I was a kid. Got scared and hid behind the chair. But later on, saw it on VHS. I used to make paper Gremlins all the time. That's how this was. But I did not realize. I know that song. Do you hear what I hear? I knew it from Gremlins. That's the only time I've ever heard that song before. And I was like, oh, that's a Gremlins song. But he works. You have Gizmo as a gift. The Gremlins are singing Christmas carols.
I'm still waiting on my Gizmo gift.
I'm sorry.
I know.
Is that a euphemism? I'm kind of confused.
Don't be dirty, Mitch. Don't be dirty.
He wants something small and hairy. I'm not sure what
not
that
the
means.
band.
Don't get it wet. Don't get it wet.
Oh, it wants to be
don't get it wet, right?
It wants to be wet.
Anyway, with that, again, I'll remind you, next week, join us for as we talk about Disney's animated features, because no matter how you feel about Disney today, we all grew up with Disney, and there is still something left on us, no matter how sticky it is, from watching those animated features, and we'll talk about that. So, especially after the small hairy thing. Anyway, so see you. Of course, I'm C Michael Lanning. We'll see you back here next week on Dispatches from Outside the Box, 8 p.m. Eastern, because y'all all live on the Eastern side. I live in this little hole called Central Time, and we will see you then. Bye.
Au revoir.
That ain't the friggin' Christmas star, Grizz. It's a light in the sewage treatment plant.
Sewer gas.
Don't drop that!
And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave through the night.